So I arrive in India and I get stage 1 of culture shock right away. And stage 1 of culture shock goes like this. India is very different from America, and everything that's different is interesting. So for example, I'm going from the airport to my apartment, and in a big city, there's cows walking on the road. In America, we don't have cows walking on the road in the city. They're in the country, or what Indians would call the village. Or another example is I wake up the next morning, I look out my window, and I see a pack of monkeys walking around. In America, you don't have monkeys just walking around near your apartment. They're all in the zoo. So I just thought, wow, this is so interesting. This place is so different and so neat. Another example is public transportation. In India, you ride around in something called an auto. It's like a three-wheeler with a carriage, but it's on the road. We don't have those in America, so the first time I got an auto, I thought it was amazing. I thought it was awesome. So I'm taking like selfies of me in an auto, showing all my friends on Facebook back in America how it's so different here. Now, some people call this stage the honeymoon stage. Everything is just so interesting. And so sometimes when Americans or foreigners come to India and right away they say, wow, this culture is a lot neater than I thought it would be, I tell them, well, you're going through the honeymoon stage. The second stage in India goes like this. India is very different from America, and it's scary. Everything that is different is scary. So for example, I just don't know how to greet people appropriately. I don't even know if they're gonna understand me. Do a lot of people here speak English? I don't even really know the correct way to eat food. In America, we use forks and spoons and knives. Most Indian food, they just eat with their hands. Am I eating with my hands the right way? Am I wearing the right kind of clothes? Do I need to buy Indian clothes? What kind of Indian clothes should I buy? I don't know. So in some ways, in the second stage of culture shock, you realize you're kind of like a little kid again. You're like a little child again, except your parents aren't with you. So now we've already covered 2 stages. The honeymoon stage, which is probably the best stage, it only lasts for about 2 weeks. The second stage, where everything is scary, it lasts a little bit longer. I couldn't tell you an exact number, but it is much longer because you have so much to learn about the culture. And now the longest stage of culture shock goes like this. India is very different from America, and everything that is different is wrong. So for example, when you're in an auto, all the other vehicles are honking their horns just about every 5 seconds. In America, we don't do that. We only honk our horn if we're upset or if something really needs to be corrected. Something is really wrong. In India, they do it about every 5 seconds, and it's really annoying. And so my American mindset thinks this is not the right way to do it. Everyone who's honking their horn right now is wrong. Another example is when you go buy food in America, you get all your food and then you wait in line and you pay for it. If you go to a shop here in India, most of the shops are really, really small. They're so small that you can't actually go inside them. You have to tell the owner of the shop what food you want. And when you say one item, like some rice, then another Indian comes and they say what they want. And then another Indian comes and say what they want. And you have to wait on all of them. And sometimes getting your food can take forever because you don't take your turn. You don't wait in line. It's a free-for-all. Everyone just tells the person what they want, and you have no idea how long it's going to take to get all your food. Another example is that Indians aren't really time-related like Americans are, so if you're going to an event and you want your Indian friend to arrive, they may arrive a lot later than you expect them to arrive. And so my American mind will think, this is wrong. You're supposed to come on time like we do in America. Another example about waiting in line, if you go to a wedding, you go to a reception, if there's a lot of food, it's just out on the table. Usually in America, they dismiss people by table. This table goes, they get their food, they come back, another table goes. People, when they're getting their food, they wait in line. A lot of Indian weddings in India, at the reception, all the food is there on the table, and it's a free-for-all. Everybody can go. There's not really a line. You really have to be aggressive and kind of like push around to get your food. And my American mind says, this is wrong. We're supposed to wait in line. And so yeah, this stage says that everything that's different about this culture is wrong, and my culture, American culture, is right. But am I right? No, I'm not. Is this culture wrong? No, they're not wrong. It's their culture. It's just my mind is telling me that. And so I get angry at everything. And so normally in America, I'm a really calm, laid back, going person. It takes a lot for me to get angry. But when I was going through this part of culture shock, I was really angry almost every day. I could feel my muscles just wanting to come out of my skin. I wanted to punch a hole in the wall. And the worst part is this stage is the longest in culture shock. And for me, it lasted about 2 years. Now, after 2 years, does this part go away? No, but I was able to calm down some and relax and realize, no, these Indians are not wrong. It's their culture. They're the right ones. I'm the wrong one for thinking that they're wrong and not doing things according to American culture. But yeah, it can take that long for you to finally calm down and relax. Now, there are still times where I have that anger part where something in the culture is different from our culture and I just don't expect it. So sometimes that still happens, but not as much. These days I don't want to punch a hole in the wall. I don't feel my muscles wanting to come out of my skin. I can sleep fine at night. So for the most part, I'm pretty calm now. And I talked to some other foreigners and they also said it took them about 2 years to finally calm down and accept the differences of the Indian culture. Now, I said this was my experience for India. I can only say that because I've only lived in India for a long time. I haven't lived in other countries. However, I would say this is probably normal for any foreigner who's moving to a different country. So even Indians who go to America are gonna have a similar kind of culture shock. I knew an Indian couple in America who they lived there for a few years. The husband went to college there. They could not wait to get back to India because they were going through that difficult culture shock. Now, another reason I share this is because now for Indians, when you see a foreigner in your country seems to be struggling, maybe he's excited and thinks everything's neat at first, maybe he's really scared, he or she is really scared, or maybe they're just really angry. Now you can know that they're going through this culture shock. And so now maybe you can better understand foreigners. And so for me, when I go back to America, I can now better understand people who are not normally from America who are visiting for a long time. Before I came to India, I knew foreigners who just seemed really angry, and I just thought, is this how these people are in their country? And now I can finally realize, no, this is not how they are. They're not normally an angry person. They're just going through culture shock. So now when I go back to America, I'm way more understanding of people from other countries. So this was just me sharing my experience. Maybe you've had experience similar to mine. Please write down in the comments about your experience of culture shock. Also, I want to make more videos like this, so if you want to, ask some questions in the comment section, and maybe I'll answer those questions in this kind of format. Alright, that's all for now. Watch my other videos. Bye bye, dosto!